Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8.6. Okay, we're going to continue this. We've crushed Yugoslavia. We're coming in to crush Greece. Ooh, Sweden wants to give us access. Sure, we'll take that. And Iran, we give them supplies. Sure, that's nice. Excuse me. Wow. Okay. Sweden did grant Germany military access, but it was actually very limited. Basically using the train to go through here somewhat of an ongoing basis, but that's about all it was. So it is historical, but it wasn't complete access that we may be getting. Oh, pause. And Finland, great. I know I dismissed that before, I didn't mean to. That way now we have lots of access. I don't think we can attack out of Finland to someplace else. Okay, give it a yes. But it does sort of mean that we have the ability to like come to the border and take a look or something. And also more likely for them to join the Axis. Autumn mud starts to clear. Don't think there's much in Greece. Autumn mud, that is. Okay, you're here, you're here. I didn't want to look at the terrain. It's just better to come through the hills than try to fight your way through the mountains. You're fast, so once you break through, hopefully they will. Walter Modal. Don't know what his middle initials mean, but whatever. The main reason I'm throwing him in there is earn some traits. Okay, now we've beaten off that attack. You, I want to come in, down, 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 down. You, I want to come in through here before they get there. And the Soviets, what do they want? Okay, we'll give you supplies for money. You like supplies at the door. Okay. Air defense network has advanced. That is very good, including the build cost down for fighter interceptors and other things are improved. Is that... artillery. There it is. The defense network. Well, we're going to let that continue, even though it does have that massive manpower hit. That's the worst thing about it, but we're still at over 1,000. And there will be other events, conquests, and other things to continue to expand the manpower. Yeah, so for mostly create, upgrade. Let me just sort of look. Create. Well, we don't get to see what. Some of the creates, they remove other type of divisions around them. Some of it is just stuff that I'm not using at all, sitting, you know, in a stack over here or something. And I'd be sure, yeah, very well wanting to do it now as opposed to do it later. But I don't. But as soon as I'm done with this, then taking Greece, then I will do all those upgrades and know what I have left available to help the Italians out in North Africa. Come on, guys, get there. We could use some. On this path. Yeah, through the mountains. Not mountain troops, but we don't have any here yet. They're coming. That's why I want these to appear over there, not in the center. Because obviously I didn't accidentally hit anything, but I've done that so many times. Okay, single engine armament. Okay, we've got the aero engine, we're waiting on that. See, the carrier is just like, yeah, it's really old, but I only have one carrier thing. I don't know how much it's going to get used, but eventually. But where here we've got lots of light and medium bombers. It's going to help the speed, the range. Yeah, we'll do that. Airdrop tanks, great. That helps out a lot because that's a one and done, and it's a lot of range for a lot of fighter types. So we will switch that also over there to medium bombers. Oh, come on now. On the coast. Race for Athens. No, Vantoma, we'll throw him into this mountain battle. Hopefully he gets in soon. He'll help out, but probably, yep, already over. And the question is, will we need any more? Because now that they're defeated, I don't know that they'll ever have time to properly regroup. Just not needed. I'll have to bring you down here just for the fun of it. Battle commander recognition, great. And that again is like gold to me, at least within game terms. SS motorized HQ, that's good. Those are also useful for partisan suppression. So we'll go with that. Okay, forming. Well, this is all going to happen fast. Yes, I know, the faster the less I break to talk about it. Romania. Give them energy? Absolutely, my friends. Absolutely. So you guys just cruise out here, take the provinces. Okay, got these guys, yes, back to here. Okay, what I want to do here is, and that is 126. I want to attach 126 here in Bordeaux. Now I may go in and tweak it. I really wish, because I use these as escort, that they had a lower vision priority so that they're at the bottom so I can still quickly see what type of bomber it is they're escorting. This guy is... oh, jeez. Let's see. Okay. I'll fighter escort down him. I want to make sure we're out here. But no. I lost some subs out here. I'm not terribly pleased by it. One you can see, the ones that I'd sent to do out in this part. But now we got these Italian subs here. So let's see if we put them here. Yes, convoy rating, passive. I thought I had the other ones passive. So like, but they just may have gotten hit by way too much. Okay, armored fighting vehicle. AA weapons have advanced. Artillery? Yes, okay, we will stop that. We'll mechanize infantry. Yeah. Most assuredly want to do that. Yep, still just lots of upgrading. Major victory. Here, okay. Well, we should continue to push on them. Another major victory effect. And Italy, give them money for rare materials? Certainly, if that's what you want to sell us, we could use some. We got plenty for now, but don't want them stocks going down. Because some other day it may not be plenty. Well, let's Rommel down this way. So now we have another unit already sort of tasked for that, but might as well. Okay, lots of things just happened. Okay. Order placed. Finland. Okay, we'll accept that. Finland. The Great Dictator. Earlier, I believe, you may know it's there. There was the Three Stooges movie that was the first comedic attack on Hitler and the Nazis. It's well, I don't know how consequential any Three Stooges movie is, but it was just that, and had a, it was the first one. This is the first really powerful comedic attack on Hitler and the Nazis. Yes, Chaplin is known as a comedic actor, but he was also a dramatic actor. He was obviously known for the Little Tramp, but you can look at some of his other stuff, including some of his very late work that he's playing a 100% serious role. Very good actor. And especially if you look at some of the stuff I'm thinking of in the 1950s, post World War II, playing, not that old of a guy, but an older guy, and coming from the silence, going all the way through, and the acting changes. So trust me, he was a great actor. Well, and this up here is Jack Oakey, who's playing Mussolini. He was an actor as well, but very much known, I believe, as a radio star as well. And in there's he plays a double role, one as the Hitler wannabe, and if you get it, there's the double X in there, but that's sort of what that is a double cross. Those who are not familiar with American idiom, to double cross somebody is to betray them. So there's this underlying message that it's the double cross. And there's some subtle or not so subtle elements to it and all this stuff. And one of the scenes is Chaplin as Hitler. Well, see, he plays a double role, as both as sort of this Jewish, I think, baker, and then also as the dictator. But he gets at some point mistaken for the dictator. Well, he comes into like the Reich's chancellery type thing, and there's this big globe here, but then it sort of turns out to be, and it is a balloon globe, and he sort of does this dance with the globe. And this is a sound, a talkie, as they would have said in the early days. Obviously, by 1940, everything is. But so, and there's some very powerful moving lines in here in which I quote a massive part of it. Where does it start? From the speech movie. I am sorry, but I don't want to be emperor. That is not my business. This is where he's mistaken as Hitler or whatever, and has a chance to be in front of the microphone. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone, if possible, Jews, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there is room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned man's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much, feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. Okay, I don't read it anywhere near as dramatic as he did, but it's a very dramatic speech, and it's one that I can get behind because I don't know Chaplin's politics exactly, but he very much talks about freedom and humanity. And if you knew it was definitely hidden, definitely camouflaged, the amount of cruelty going on in the Soviet Union. I'm trying to remember who was the news guy who went to the Soviet Union and then came back and said everything was good, and he saw and knew that it wasn't, and lied to everybody. And so people believed that Stalin in the 30s wasn't as the evil person that he was. An American, somebody can post it below if they want to. But so it's a very powerful message, and so it's something to be remembered. So relations with the U.S. just got a little worse. Not that they are already embargoed us and pretty bad. Okay, the fate of the Yugoslavian. We can get the Yugoslavian fleet, or we need some materials. We don't need any materials, so we'll take the fleet now. Is it here? Yes. Ooh, well, like I said, lots of stuff just happened. Okay. What I want to do is, because I've had this, because you see as they start out, as they need to basically be built up again. I had the British come over, or somebody come over and attack and sink these guys before they were able to be anything. And if they were up at full strength and able to do that, I'd be okay. Yeah, good on you. You did a nice attack. You got this. But right now we are putting them in here to hopefully, cushion any blows. I've already got the fighters up. That's one of the reasons I moved, because I knew this was coming. One of the reasons I moved these fighters in is to make sure if there's any bombers still operating around here, they'll get shot up. Begin the Becker event chain. So we lose some material, large quantities of war material from defeated French armies are commissioned, so excellent, great. French workers and other French workers 2 until November 1940. National manpower plus 5% leader. Okay. New battle commander has entered the field. Okay, offer recruitment down by 50% until December. Okay. Gunther von Klug. This I just found the badge here and thought it was really cool. It's Christian X's birthday. Maybe should I put it in there because I don't know if it fired on the right day, but about this time. And I sort of admire him. He, for the longest time, every day he would come out and ride around the city on horseback to show that, not that he was still in charge, because obviously he wasn't, but to show that the Danish people, they still had somebody looking out for him. And this is a badge that was made obviously after, because the occupation is celebrating his birthday, and this is just one of his rides. I don't know if it's his birthday ride there, and that's him as a younger man. So that's sort of cool. Send in the Ordnungspolizei into Denmark. Yes. Into the Frankreich, the German occupation army. Anti-aircraft demonstration units in Romania. Yes. Anti-aircraft gun basically went into Polizei. German military assessment mission to Libya. On October 24th, 1940. After an investigation of the possibility of German operations in North Africa, General Ritter von Thoma, you've all heard of him by now, I'm sure, reported to Adolf Hitler that the supply difficulties determined what could be achieved given the North African climate, terrain, and British control of the Mediterranean. The minimum necessary force to capture Egypt was 4 divisions, which was also the maximum force which could be supplied from Italy, but Hitler refused to consider sending more than 1 armored division. Okay, so we have assessment mission. Growing desert unit command and control is improved. Well, great. I haven't seen that event before. Oh, lots of stuff now. Form, upgrade. Okay, yeah, we're getting through this fast. I don't want these to disappear. Some of these need to happen in 1940, I do believe, but we're still in November. Now, mentioning that, let's come over here and also the Desert Unit Command and Control. Take advantage of that 10% for this already up there. For 10 days, I don't know, 10%. But come on, guys, let's take this down, and then we can. There's von Thoma right here. Oh, good. Finally, we got a mountain division here to fight in the mountains. I'm sort of waiting for that. Oh, you guys, you're still advancing. Good. Somebody not okay. You're not moving, so you start moving. Okay. Danish 20mm cannon. 20mm AA machine cannon M38 of the Danish Army was responsible for knocking out 11 armored cars and 2 Panzer Is. Well, neither of those is very difficult, but for penetration, that is. During the German invasion before the order to surrender came through, the Germans were naturally very interested in the weapon and had them exported to Germany. I do believe, I'm not absolutely sure, but I do believe they were chambered the same as the German 20mm guns, because you can make something that's 20mm in diameter bullet going out, but has different lengths and of the cartridge behind it, different thicknesses. Doesn't need to be the same, but I think it was the same. And I've seen, I mean, this is a cool picture and all, but you don't necessarily get the full effect because they made sort of a motorcycle that that the sidecar was the cannon. You couldn't shoot it from there, but it would quickly, rapidly deploy it, if I'm not mistaken. So it's sort of like, would be great to add to, the motorcycle reconnaissance type units that you see Germany buzzing around in. And but you got to get it off and deploy it because of the recoil. It's too much for it. But would give your reconnaissance unit, obviously, if you're surprised, you're going to be all shot up. But if it's sort of right, following in the immediate behind your motorcycle reconnaissance to where they can move to a good place and deploy, you can take out light armored fighting vehicles like it did with those things. I don't know how good it was. Well, it does say anti-aircraft, so I guess it does also have high angle targeting ability. Okay, the 11th Army Commando, yes, we'll take that. Hitler meets with Petain and Laval. That's Petain, that's Hitler. Don't know who that is, probably some translator. That's Ribbentrop back there. Just so you know who there. I don't see Laval in that picture. Okay, after failing the day before to convince Franco to join the Axis, Adolf Hitler meets with Marshal Petain and Pierre Laval on October 24th, 1940 in Montreuil, I don't know, bloody French pronunciation. Laval was pushing Petain to formally enroll France in the Tripartite Pact, yet when Hitler met with Petain to discuss the French role in the new Europe, the Marshal listened to Hitler in silence. Not once did he offer sympathetic words for Germany. Still, the handshake he offered to Hitler caused much uproar in London and likely influenced Britain's decision to lend the Free French naval support for their operation at Gabon. That is for those, I would say, mostly Americans, but who don't know geography. Whatever that is, I believe, here. But it's, yeah, Senegal down here. No, that's Dakar. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm messing this up, aren't I? After just bashing people, aren't I? What is up? You know it's in Africa. Yes, so that is Dakar. That's British control. Sierra Leone. Okay, maybe that's it. I don't know. Somewhere down here. Man. Yes, I had Dakar in mind. Yep, didn't I embarrass myself? But it's somewhere. Whatever. Okay, and accepted the creation of collaborative armed militia, the Milice, along with German forces, led a campaign of repression against the... So, and as I've said before and earlier talking about it, Petain, my opinion, did what he thought was the minimum he had to do to keep Germany from behaving any worse than it did towards France. That's my assessment. That doesn't mean he made the right choices. Maybe it would have been better to resist, pretend that Hitler was, evil as Trump is, and, just resist everything in the world, or instead of, collaborate with him or whatever. But, what he should have, should he have tried to, should he have never surrendered? Should he have resisted? I don't know. But I do believe he was trying to do the best he could to minimize the amount of damage Germany did to France. Where Laval, as they said here, was trying to get France more into the tripartite pact, trying to get it more access, and he is very much, in my opinion, the collaborator, the traitor, the whatever you want to call him. I think is reasonably appropriate. Bad names like that, much more so. Because yes, you could call Petain a collaborator because obviously he did. Now, a French postman is a collaborator as well because he's delivering the mail and very likely delivering Nazis' mail. But I don't think any of us complain about that. The policeman, that's obviously a much more gray area because sometimes the policemen actually helped the resistance when they sort of knew it was resistance versus just because there was a lot of crime going on because the chaos of the period, because some people just, were sort of in a starving bad situation. Others are just the chaos of the situation. Criminals just to steal things were criminals. They did that too. So sometimes the police were just trying to, keep civil order. Again, to do it themselves, so the Frenchmen are monitoring Frenchmen instead of all quitting and making it, these ORPO occupation troops doing all the police work. But again, it's a gray area. So I can understand a French person's thinking that they shouldn't have done that. I do know once the uprising started in Paris, most all of the French police joined in with the resistance and trying to throw out the Germans. Once it became a doable thing and they had their police pistols and probably a few rifles and whatever to fight against the Germans. So once they did, they did. Once they thought they could actively win, the great majority of the Paris police rose up. Instead of trying to defend the Germans, instead of trying to flee with the Germans. Now I do know when they mentioned the milice, the milice, they were a bit more of a collaborationist arm, and a bunch of them fled with the Germans into Germany. And at one point I've read, this is after Germany had lost most or all of French possessions, there was a few thousand of these people, and there was sort of an agreement to go, let's just say the number 6,000. I don't know what the number was, but it wasn't too high. It was somewhere in that kind of range, 3,000, 6,000. Half of them were going to go to the army and the other half to the Waffen-SS, and they were just sort of arbitrarily split up. Within the milice, there were a few Jews, or people categorized as Jews by the Nazis. I don't know, having one Jewish parent, I don't know. But some of them ended up in the SS. There was one supposedly black guy. I don't know what his background was, whether he was, because there were black people born and raised in France versus Africans, French colonial empire that just happened to still, happened to be in France and spoke French when Germany invaded. So I don't know whether you would call him an African living in France or a African Frenchman or whatever, however you want. But there was one black guy that was turned away, if I remember correctly, and I guess sent, that he was in the group because somebody just said, half of you guys get over here, half of you guys, without necessarily knowing what the two halves were going to go do. So they sort of split them up that way and put them on trucks or something. And so when the group that showed up to the Waffen-SS to go to the Charlemagne Brigade or whatever it was, They turned the Waffen SS did turn away the black guy, but let the Jews in. Now this is of course in the last days, and they were desperate for things, so it wasn't like, oh, Jews are okay to be in the Waffen SS now. They probably just didn't even care and figured they were going to die in combat, so it didn't really matter at that point. Okay, so we've got relations between VC France, relations between VC France United Kingdom. Okay, those all change. VC France gets some dissent, loses some national unity. Okay, some parties get some popularity gain. Okay, collaboration as okay. Local revolt risk -1 for Vichy France, I presume that is. Okay, Western France. No, that's other territory, I think. Okay, where we are. The Wehrmacht occupation for the Netherlands. Yes, we want that. The general government. Yes, we want. We've talked about that. It is just that's. I even have well, I don't have, but I have photos of a magazine, I think published monthly, about for the general government kind of thing. I think it was on newsstands, but they just completely, like I said before, removed the name Poland. Everything, they might say in Poland or whatever internally, but it was always just the general government. Everything publicly. I see various signs for buildings or pavilions or whatever, celebration things. It's just everything is general government. They're just erasing that from the map. Now this is an interesting picture here. That I do believe, because it's red there, he's a general army officer. A general, but in the army. This is, I have to look it up, but I'm gonna guess 42 and later. That's just a guess right offhand. He is a police commander. I almost said officer, but commander. Right down, that's one other badge, but right down, sort of maybe that there, but just above or behind where this cuff is, would be the SS, and you can maybe see it's maybe that one there on this guy. So I think, because you can see that sort of a green background. I think that's a green background as well, so I think he's another police guy, but maybe also SS. But I think these two are policemen here. They're in police uniform. This guy here, I do believe that to me, compared to the green there, because you can see the guy's collar and then the patch is there. And this guy's darker collar, and then the sort of patch around the oak leaf type symbols here is lighter. I think that's darker. But I'm also looking here that this is a really small skull compared to the police. They have sort of a wreath with an eagle, spread-armed eagle with holding a swastika. That's the police symbol. I own a little 32 caliber pistol that was that I bought years ago now. It's from World War II, and it came in a holster that was, German military holster from the period, and it has a police badge stuck onto the holster. So I'm pretty sure the police badge is original, and I don't know whether it was the guy who captured it and brought it back, stuck the police badge on it, or whether the police were sticking with just a really small little brown little holster, a little 32 caliber thing, an Orpo. So I believe because of the association, I have an Orpo pistol with a police badge stuck onto it. But it's not a regulation location to stick the badge. But I do believe it's sort of like that hat badge there. But you can see that's a much smaller, and I do believe darker, so I think he's SS by if I'm dating this right, 42 or later, but definitely even everything after 40. The SS were all wearing gray, so they're not wearing black unless they're wearing Panzer black or something. But so I'm pretty sure he is an SS guy as opposed to a police guy. And if you note here, well, he doesn't have one of this guy has lots of combat awards, but I do think he is police even with all those combat awards. But he could also be like I do say SS and transferred to the police, but he's still a member of the SS, or maybe even the Waffen SS, but transferred to the police. Just trying to sort of give you some of the history and the way it works. And if I could blow this picture up in high quality, I could read the badges much better, I'll tell you for sure. But that's my guess, that he's SS. You can see the sort of horizontal patch there, or bars there, that are sort of like German infantry, but you can maybe quite barely tell that it's sort of the green police. But so he's a lower ranking police, and just by that hat I would call that an army hat from what I can see here. Just sort of some interesting identification to see the mix of people in the photo. But it also gives you the idea. You can see here the green stripe, and the green stripe on the breeches there. And I don't detect the green stripe there either. And so that's part of the reasons I'm thinking that this guy very much... You can also see it's a little grayer, but pants and jackets don't always match. So I do believe that this is an SS uniform guy, just to sort of see. Now this is, I think appropriately though, you know, using the military administration, because you do have a general there. And they did collaborate with the police and the SS. So we get this. Good. I know we're not moving things forward, but let's... Okay. We got all these things here. What? Wish they would have attached them to... Partially the reason I wish they would have attached them, maybe it's just bad coding. Sometimes people make mistakes, because you can like, I know I've said it before, but sure, let's come here. You can do this, which is obviously more than 5 subunits when you load an OOB, but you can't attach more, so you can force it in. And if I wasn't on, so I'm not going to mess with this now. I'll try to attach all of these. So something I don't mind doing just as playing, but would slow up this even more than what I'm doing right now, analyzing a photo. Okay, oh, 139 here. Yeah, a little bit more. Military police organizations. Well, it would help the garrison organizations to defend things. We just got a bunch of those. I know a bunch of you are playing, and maybe playing faster than I'm playing, just because I'm only doing, you know, an hour or so a day. And you can play for 8 hours a day or longer if you got the stamina to do it. But I hope this sort of kind of helps, because you can now see that we have massive amounts of occupation forces here that are actually fairly decent. So you don't need huge amounts. Just because I didn't know when and if this was going to happen, now this is turning very green. I did throw these 3 in production. I may kill them, or I may just let them stay and just plan on using them for the invasion of the Soviet Union. Or even sending them down here. Though I think we're going to have some events happen here eventually too, just to keep the partisans down somewhere else. So they're still useful, and I wasn't overly spamming them because I did believe that we were having some more. Okay. Similar sorts of... No victory points down in the Peloponnese? No. So we will just come down here in case everything hasn't collapsed by the time we take Athens. You still got... Keep moving. The one sort of downside to all of these event upgrades, which I really do love, but units that get upgraded, you lose all of the experience for the units. Still get the commanders still get their experience for this campaign, but they lose whatever experience they have. Now sometimes, and some of the mod makers do a really good job, because if you look at the and it goes event by event, but you can look at the order battle code that they load in, says, give, X amount of experience, so they're sort of figuring they have been used a reasonable amount, invading France and conquering whatever, so it, you do get the, an arbitrary amount that may even be more than what you get in the game. Okay. So it's not all bad, but it's just, it's a legit, okay, that's too far forward, so let's cancel the logistical warfare focus. But you can see, I love that. That's going to be so good. I wish I had all that during my ongoing, still as I'm making this, I still haven't finished it. Invasion of the Soviet Union. Obviously it takes 2.5% of IC, but long-range submarine class. Okay, good. Okay, that's grayed out, so but that's fine. Okay, and navigational radar advance. That is not here. It is down here. Okay, that's good. Well, let's do some of that. Twin engine bomber crew layout. Good. I think the last one there for that. Okay. We've got a lot of these, so let's see about getting that upgraded. Range, extra days. Yeah, I can remember times that we should just go one more province, my heavy transports, to be able to fly supplies. So yeah, that may just be something I'm really pleased to have. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, got our payment received twice. Oh, well, they're different payments, so okay, so maybe we're supposed to. Germania regiment disbanded. I believe that is going to affect, and should affect, not leap stand up. Where is he stuck up there? You guys are running out of fuel here. Yes, there. Well, yes, we should lose that. It wasn't 22,000 man strength plus all the rest of this junk. This is mostly just for this, because Germania should go. Bye-bye. I don't know. I didn't cheat and do that, because most of those things do have a check to see that Germania exists, but that goes into helping format Vinking. You notice it has the Vinking symbol, and that's used there. The one German regiment added to a bunch of Scandinavian, Norwegian, Swedes, and Danes and whatnot. Okay, and 12th Wella. Okay, cool. But that'll probably appear soon. Yeah, okay. Okay, just more headquarters. Let's get them out of Berlin. Send them down to the southern. And is there a winking division here somewhere? I don't see it. So, oh, winter will include, we need to go to the top. And 11th kinds of division, okay, but let's keep pushing here. Did we lose this by now? Not yet. I don't know. Thought you should be. I didn't mess with it. Oh, pause. Medium air, search radar, good. And that one is here, so let's... This helps particularly, well, a bunch of things, but the flying boats and the naval. I really like that, helps those. That's sort of why I did that. One of the early ones. Norwegian airports, good idea. 5% of ICs. Well, we get quite a bit of stuff there. For how long? Until December 28th. Oh god. Lots of air bases. Yeah, we'll do that. But that 5% is too big. Whoever mod maker may be paying attention to me now. I don't know if anybody is. But that's too big. For this, we're at over 700. Just too big. %. It sounds right because it's a lot of stuff to build an airbase. I've sort of come to the feeling that every province should have a level 1 airbase, just because there's always a flat enough space somewhere in every province to be able to land planes, even these mountainous ones, and they could drive in trucks or whatever to have refueling and resupply. But that's just a level 1, so if you're going to operate much, you can't. But to operate a more significant airbase takes a lot more support equipment. Just support some fighters for a few days, sure. But to well, okay, you guys should have been moving down a long time ago. Part of the reason we're moving down is because we may need to use them to occupy places like Crete or battle that out. We may have an event that creates Fortress Crete or something like that. Which would be sort of cool. If they did. Submarine class advance. Great. This is sort of our standard submarine, not coastal and not long range. Okay. Got now more holes opened up. And, oh, cool. Battery here. Okay, well, we're going to start with large capacity batteries. I think. Submarine damage controls. We're going to do that first. I think that's upgradable to what we are currently doing. Nope. We're getting attacked. 1. And we're battling for Athens. Okay, that's good. But it's just really, it's useful. It's just sitting. Okay, well, you can join the fight. Earn some traits. I'm liking these stug up to long. Okay, home front coordination. I still don't understand why supply throughput is hit by this. Obviously we are balancing that out with some of the other events, and that almost made me not do that. Oh, that's some fun. Down here. You're down here. Okay. Well, we're going to stop it for the moment. And since we just got a bunch of things here, let's do large battery capacity. That will reduce visibility and things like that. Okay, the Lish Infantry Division, 99th. Good, cool. I'm hoping it is a full proper unit, not just a... and it's on the map too. Oh, cool. This is cool. Okay, we got this guy as commander. He's alright. And it's a horse transport. Okay, really cool. Be prepared to fight in some swamps. And we may start with this swamp, so let's head this way. Yeah, I'm sure he's here by now, so we're gonna be waiting to add light cruiser Emden to this. Now this is a much better escort capability if we run into anything. At least it should be. It's not perfect. And there, I have seen some big fleets out here, but I don't think we're going to run into too many big fleets, and we're going to send you up there. I guess you're going to have to rebase to get all the way up there, but that's fine. I suspect that will handle anything we encounter. Should be able to deal with any submarines or destroyer type squadrons. Should be. Again, it's how well it's coded. But it is definitely a force that is designed to deal with most of that kind of stuff. And yep, I can't... oh, let's join the battle. Get some traits. Slice it all the way down. Yeah. We gotta get there before 41 starts, because I think some of these things may disappear. Some come and go as a unit goes in and out of action, because a lot of them has the check. Unit exist is not in combat. Okay, single engine fighter prototype fuel. Okay, we can now do. And I've been sort of waiting for that. Once I got all those done, to then do this, because we up there, so units will come and drop off of there as I'm engaging in combat with them. But I want everybody down here as fast as possible now to take that. Is there any other victory points that we are not for Greece? We should basically be collapsing once I take. Yeah, mostly I'm doing that just to get traits for the leaders and maybe for units that will stay around. Naval bomber and flying boat prototypes have both advanced. That is good. I think they're grayed out. Yes, good. So I don't have to cancel them. Armor unit command and control advance. Okay, armor unit command and control. So we are up at 1940. Obviously, we're getting ready to 41 here, anyways. But And we very well may be back, but I want to do some sort of balance. Okay. Let's do that. So keep the air. Let's do tac pilot, because that's medium and light. Bombers, we got lots of those. And yeah, I really do believe within Hearts of Iron, maybe more so than reality, but definitely within Hearts of Iron, the real decision, at least for anything that isn't a major naval situation, like maybe Japan or something, but the real decision is land forces. Meaning, I think I could have a sucky air force and win with great super panzer units and everything else. But if my land forces suck, I don't think my my naval force. Okay, you join the attack there too. My air force is going to you know, do us any good if we don't have land battles or land units doing good. Air is not that powerful. Okay, artillery unit combined arms advance. And that, I think we will also, yes, stop that for a moment. Small air-search radar. That is here. That we're going to shift to there. Large, just 2 of those, so we're not really worried about that. I like this, but just the visibility and the range really helps, but I don't know right now I want to do that. Okay, mentioning, I want to increase that. There we go. And Japan has entered ZB Sanma and conquered that. Okay, so they're basically, it's just down to these guys here that looks like they're going to fall fairly soon for Japan to be ready and able to deal with things like the British and Burma and other places, and maybe even be able to deal with Indonesia and Philippines aggressively, and not be tied down fighting the Chinese. Okay. This, I believe, is an event that's it's a Third Reich event, but is new to me in the playing sense. I don't think it was in the last game. This is one of the reasons I wanted to play this again, and one of the reasons I wanted to play sort of along a historical path, because it does matter, both the way I do events and the way some of the other sub-modders do events, because I have some of the code, and I know one of the people, probably a few weeks ago now, but posted, you know, what version of Third Reich events are you using? You're getting a lot more events than I have. And I said, well, one on the first page. I mean, there's sort of 2 versions right now. That the second one, somebody's having problems, so I tweaked it a little bit, but I'm using the one on the first page. And he's seeing a lot more events in this series than what he's seeing. And it had me baffled for a little while, but then I thought maybe he's playing very ahistorical. And partially I know some of this is because when I did invade the Soviet Union, well, obviously I hadn't conquered France, and that some of the stuff doesn't fire. But some of the stuff only fires is if you're at peace with the Soviet Union at this time, or you know, Romania is maybe in the Axis, or just not at war, or whatever it might be. So some events, an event chain may not happen if you're going too far off script, just because we don't want them to fire at ridiculous conditions. Okay. The Romanian Prime Minister Antonescu paid a visit to Berlin between the 22nd and 25th of November 1940. He met with the Führer and discussed for it needs to be written better. Discussed overall, or discussed for over 3 hours. No, that worked. Yeah. Should we agree with this very favorable deal for the Reich? We will receive the most needed oil and food supplies in exchange for some military equipment and instructors. Okay, this is part of the event chain here. So, obviously it's going to cost a lot of supplies, which I'm just calling military equipment, metal and energy to make those things, and supply for Romania. Romania will also get this, and this will help us out with other things, or no. Basically, we want to do this. So yes. Well, this episode's gone on long enough. I was hoping to get Greece done by the end of it, but it doesn't look like it. So, going to end here. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. I do appreciate that. And of course, please post comments, suggestions, ideas, corrections down below. And see you next time for more Hearts of Iron.